In the flickering light of a cave fire, our story begins, not with kings or empires, but with a spark. Fire and the new words spoken around it forged the first bonds of community. These bonds carried us from scattered bands to settled villages, as the simple act of planting a seed transformed the earth and pulled humanity toward the great rivers of the world. Along the fertile banks of the Nile, the Tigris, and the Indus, water gave rise to the first cities. With surplus grain came new roles: the builder, the priest, the king. And with kings came law, a code designed to outlast any single ruler. Empires rose on this foundation. The Persians built roads and a system of tolerance to connect a vast domain. In India, the Maurya and Gupta dynasties framed society with duty and faith. In the East and West, the Han and Roman empires built walls and highways, pathways for armies, merchants, and something even more powerful: ideas. Buddhism traveled the Silk Road, while Confucian ethics shaped bureaucracy. Was it the sword that built these worlds, or the stories that allowed strangers to trust one another? From Jerusalem to Rome, new faiths reshaped the meaning of law and mercy. Later, the Islamic caliphates became centers of science and commerce, as belief redefined identity from Spain to Persia. These worlds were not isolated. They were connected by the monsoon winds of the Indian Ocean and the slow tread of caravans along the Silk Road. Spices, paper, and gunpowder moved between continents. But these routes carried peril as well as profit. The Black Death traveled with the merchants, a grim reminder of a newly connected globe. Yet, even as old worlds faltered, new ones thrived. In the heart of Africa, the empires of Ghana and Mali grew rich on gold and salt. And across a vast ocean, the Maya mapped the stars in stone, while the Inca engineered roads through the clouds. The world was about to be redrawn, not by ink, but by salt spray and steam. On the deck of a caravel, an old world met a new one. The result was the Columbian Exchange, a relentless transfer of seeds, animals, and people. But this exchange came at a devastating cost, fueling the brutal expansion of chattel slavery and connecting continents through chains of silver and suffering. The wealth of new mines in the Americas transformed old markets in Europe and Asia, tilting the balance of global power forever. Humanity, once driven by wind and muscle, was now propelled by steam and steel. New ideas about liberty and reason, printed in pamphlets and debated in parliaments, sparked revolutions. A new kind of nation without a king was born across the Atlantic. At the same time, the engine of the Industrial Revolution, fed by coal and timed by the clock, remade life itself. Factories drew millions to swelling cities, and in these crowded streets, new voices rose, demanding rights, a national identity, and a fair share of the wealth their labor created. These demands inevitably clashed with the old empires. The 20th century was born in the fires of global conflict. 2 world wars and a Great Depression shattered the old order. In their wake, dozens of new nations emerged from colonial rule, only to be caught in the tense standoff of the Cold War. Then, as the century closed, the pace of change accelerated once more. Digital networks, global finance, and mass migration connected us in ways previously unimaginable. This history is not over. It lives in our debates over human rights, our struggle with climate change, and our response to global pandemics. The echoes of every choice, from the first fire to the first line of code, are still with us, shaping the world we will build next.